Think pennies are worthless? Think again. Certain Lincoln pennies with double dies and rare varieties have sold for thousands. Before you toss it aside, look closely. Your penny might be treasure. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made a decision that would forever change the history of the penny, and out of that transition came one of the most fascinating and valuable error coins collectors are still hunting for today. On the surface, a 1982 1-cent coin looks like any other Lincoln penny with the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Millions upon millions of these coins were struck and circulated across the nation, tossed into piggy banks, spent in stores, and passed from hand to hand without anyone thinking twice about them. But hidden in this sea of ordinary pennies are error varieties so rare and so significant that a single coin could be worth between $48,000 and $125,000. Yes, that's right. A coin most people spent without a thought could have been worth more than a luxury car or a deposit on a house. What makes the 1982 penny so special is that it was a year of dramatic transition in American coinage. Prior to 1982, Lincoln cents were composed mostly of copper, 95% copper and 5% zinc. But copper prices had risen to the point where producing the coin actually cost nearly as much as the penny itself was worth. To solve this problem, the mint shifted the penny's composition to a copper-plated zinc planchet, consisting of 97.5% zinc with a thin 2.5% layer of copper. But because the changeover happened partway through the year, both copper and zinc versions of the penny were struck in 1982. That alone creates an interesting year for collectors, since there are multiple varieties from different mints with different sizes of dates and in two-metal compositions. Now, when you combine a transitional year with the possibility of minting mistakes, you get the perfect storm for rare error coins. Some 1982 pennies ended up being struck on the wrong planchets, such as copper coins when they were supposed to be zinc or vice versa. Others featured double dies, where the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty" show signs of doubling. And then there are variations in the size of the date itself, small date versus large date, which, when paired with the wrong metal composition, can create an incredibly rare combination. These are the coins that collectors dream about finding. The most famous error to come out of 1982 is the copper penny with a small date from the Denver Mint. This coin was not supposed to exist, as all small date coins from that year were intended to be struck in the new zinc composition. But a small number of copper planchets slipped into the press, creating one of the rarest and most valuable modern Lincoln cent errors. Imagine holding one of these pennies, just 1 cent in face value, but because of that tiny error, it could bring you tens of thousands of dollars at auction. That's the kind of discovery that can change someone's life overnight. Collectors love these coins because they're not just rare. They tell a story. They capture the exact moment when the U.S. Mint was making a major change in the nation's coinage. They show us how even the most precise systems are not immune to human error or oversight. And those mistakes, those little slips in the process, end up becoming treasures that people decades later are still searching for in their change jars, coin rolls, and inherited collections. Let's talk about the value for a moment, because this is where the story really grabs attention. If you happen to come across one of these rare 1982 penny errors, its value could range anywhere from $48,000 to $125,000, depending on the condition and the exact type of error. That's a staggering sum for something that most people overlook as worthless pocket change. Think about it, you could have a fortune sitting in a jar of pennies on your kitchen counter right now without even realizing it. The thrill of searching for these coins is knowing that life-changing money could be hiding in plain sight. When these coins appear at auctions, they create waves of excitement in the numismatic community. Collectors and investors alike compete fiercely for the chance to own one, driving the price higher and higher. Stories of lucky finds, where someone discovered one of these rare coins in a forgotten collection or even out of circulation, only fuel the excitement further. People imagine the possibility that the next coin they examine could be the one that takes them from everyday change to a jackpot. What makes these error coins even more fascinating is how deceptively ordinary they look. At a glance, the average person wouldn't notice anything unusual about them. But to a trained eye, the subtle differences, the weight of the coin, the color, the thickness, or the style of the date, can reveal whether it's a rare copper small date penny or just another common cent. That's why coin collectors spend so much time examining even the simplest coins, because they know the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth over $100,000 comes down to the smallest of details. The story of the 1982 penny is also a reminder of why error coins hold such a special place in the world of numismatics. Unlike perfectly struck coins, which are uniform and predictable, error coins are unique. Each one tells the story of a specific mistake that slipped past the mint's quality control and made its way into the world. In a way, they're accidents that became masterpieces, anomalies that became treasures. And for collectors, owning one is like holding a piece of minting history that almost wasn't supposed to exist. Now, imagine the emotional roller coaster of finding one yourself. You're going through an old coin jar, or maybe you're sorting through a collection left behind by a relative. You pick up a penny, give it a closer look, and suddenly you notice something different. The weight feels off, the date looks unusual, or the coin just seems slightly different than the others. After a little research, you realize you're holding one of the rare 1982 penny errors. In that moment, your heart races, your mind spins, and you realize that little piece of copper or zinc in your hand could be worth as much as $125,000. That's not just pocket change anymore. That's life-changing money. It's moments like those that make coin collecting such an exciting and rewarding hobby. It's not just about the monetary value, though that's a huge part of it. It's also about the thrill of discovery, the sense of connection to history, and the realization that something so small can carry such immense significance. So the next time you come across a penny from 1982, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look. Check the date style. Is it large or small? Weigh the coin if you can. Copper pennies weigh 3.11 grams, while zinc pennies weigh 2.5 grams. These tiny details can mean the difference between holding an ordinary penny and holding a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Because hidden among the countless pennies minted that year are treasures waiting to be found, treasures that can sell for $48,000 to $125,000. The 1982 penny error is proof that history, value, and opportunity can all be hiding in the most unexpected places. One small coin, one tiny mistake, and suddenly you're not just holding a cent. You're holding a piece of American history worth a fortune. And that's why collectors keep searching, why treasure hunters keep hunting, and why stories like these continue to captivate people around the world. Let's talk about one of those coins that most people would walk past without a second thought. A coin that might look like nothing more than an ordinary penny at first glance, but to collectors and experts, it carries a secret that makes it worth an absolute fortune. The coin we're diving into today is the 1999 U.S. Lincoln 1-cent penny error, a coin that has left many people shocked when they discovered just how valuable it truly is. Because here's the twist, while it's a coin most of us have seen or even spent without hesitation, some error versions of the 1999 penny have been known to fetch staggering amounts at auctions, with prices ranging anywhere from $40,000 to as high as $113,000. Just think about that for a second. A single cent, minted in 1999, is capable of being worth more than some people's yearly salary, and it all comes down to tiny details that most eyes would miss. Now, 1999 was an interesting year for the penny because it was right before the U.S. Mint transitioned into something monumental. The 2000 launch of the Sacagawea dollar coin, and a time when the Mint was producing billions of coins to meet circulation demands. The Lincoln penny, already one of the most iconic American coins since it first appeared in 1909, had seen countless minor design tweaks over the decades, but during this late 1990s era, a number of errors slipped through the cracks. And those errors, as we know in the world of coin collecting, are what turn everyday money into legendary treasures. One of the most fascinating things about the 1999 Lincoln penny error is how easily it hides in plain sight. Collectors have reported double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and in rare cases, transitional planchet errors, where the coin was struck on the wrong metal blank. To the average person, these look like minor imperfections, but to a trained collector or a sharp-eyed individual who takes a closer look, those mistakes are exactly what make the coin valuable. A doubling in Lincoln's profile, letters that look slightly shadowed or blurry, or even the date itself showing unusual doubling, are signs that what you're holding isn't just any penny. It could be one of those rare error coins that skyrockets in value. And here's where it gets even more exciting. The 1999 penny has a particular kind of error that has caused major buzz: the wide AM reverse. For those unfamiliar, the Lincoln Memorial design used on the penny has the letters A and M in the word America, spaced either close together or slightly wide apart, depending on the year and die used. In 1999, Most pennies featured the close AM, but a small batch was struck with the wide AM reverse, an error created when proof dies were mistakenly used for circulation coins. That one subtle spacing error between two letters can make a penny worth tens of thousands of dollars. And when you pair that with other minor errors such as die cracks or doubling, the value climbs even higher. This is where we start hitting those jaw-dropping auction prices, ranging between $40,000 and $113,000 for the rarest examples. Think about the sheer rarity here. Billions of pennies were minted in 1999, but only a tiny handful carry the error that makes them this valuable. The odds of finding one in circulation today are slim, but not impossible. Stories continue to emerge of people sifting through their pocket change, coin jars, or inherited coin collections and stumbling across one of these rare pennies. Imagine going through an old coffee can full of coins your grandparents saved, spotting one with that subtle wide AM or a doubled feature, and then realizing you're holding something worth six figures. That's the kind of discovery that changes lives, and it's why coin collecting remains such a fascinating world of hidden treasures. Collectors who have studied this coin closely often highlight how condition plays a huge role in determining value. A heavily circulated 1999 error penny might still be worth thousands, but when you find one in uncirculated or near-mint condition, that's when the price explodes into the tens of thousands and even past the $100,000 mark. Coin grading services like PCGS and NGC have authenticated these rare error pennies, and their auction results prove that buyers are willing to pay extraordinary sums for them. What makes this story even more captivating is that the 1999 Lincoln penny error represents a perfect storm of timing, rarity, and historical significance. It came right before a major shift in U.S. coinage design, it slipped through the mint's strict quality control, and it carried an error that wasn't glaringly obvious to the naked eye. All of these factors combined have elevated it from a humble 1-cent coin to a collectible masterpiece. And here's something that might surprise you. Coins like this don't just hold monetary value. They also tell a story about the history of U.S. minting, the craftsmanship involved, and the occasional mistakes that remind us even massive institutions like the mint aren't immune to human error. These coins become snapshots of history, capturing the quirks and anomalies of a particular year and turning them into treasures for future generations. So, when you hear that a 1999 penny can be worth between $40,000 and $113,000, it's not just about the number. It's about the rarity, the thrill of discovery, the history, and the sheer improbability of finding one. That's what makes it so captivating for collectors and everyday people alike. The next time you're going through your pocket change, think about how coins like the 1999 Lincoln penny error could be hiding right in front of you. It doesn't take much more than a careful eye, some research, and a little patience to spot something extraordinary. Because while most pennies will always be worth just a cent, a select few, like this one, prove that hidden fortunes can be found in the smallest and most ordinary places. And maybe, just maybe, that unassuming coin sitting at the bottom of a jar in your home is worth far more than you ever imagined. Wouldn't it be something if your lucky penny turned out to be worth a life-changing amount? Do you want me to also create a short, high-energy hook just for this 1999 penny video, like the ones I made earlier for your multi-coin hooks? That way you'll have an instant 10 to 15-second intro before the long script kicks in. The 2017 US 1-cent penny may seem ordinary, but certain error versions of this coin have taken the collecting world by storm, commanding astonishing prices that range from $28,000 all the way up to $84,000 depending on rarity, condition, and type of error. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single penny minted just a few years ago could secretly be worth more than a luxury car or even a down payment on a house. That's the kind of surprise most collectors dream about, and today we're going deep into why this coin matters, the types of errors to look for, and how you might already have a hidden fortune sitting unnoticed in your loosechange.to start. It's important to remember that 2017 pennies belong to the long-running Lincoln Cent series, which has been minted for over a century since 1909. By 2017, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of these coins, using modern technology to try to eliminate mistakes. But no minting process is perfect, and even with advanced machinery, errors slip through. And when billions of coins are struck, just a small handful of errors can still turn up. Those tiny mistakes in production, things like off-center strikes, double dies, die breaks, misaligned lettering, or even wrong planchet strikes, are what elevate a common penny worth 1 cent into a collector's dream valued at tens of thousands of dollars. Collectors love the thrill of rarity, And with modern coins, errors are especially exciting because so few survive unnoticed. Imagine someone getting a 2017 penny in change, tossing it in a jar, and years later discovering it's not worth 1 cent, but closer to $50,000. That's the reality of the hobby, and it's one reason coin hunting has surged in popularity. The possibility of transforming pocket change into life-changing money creates an incredible sense of adventure. One of the most famous types of 2017 penny errors is the doubled die, where certain design elements appear doubled because of a misalignment in the die used to strike the coin. On these 2017 pennies, collectors look closely at areas like Lincoln's eye, the inscriptions such as Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date itself. If any doubling is visible, that coin immediately jumps from being common pocket change to potentially worth thousands, with the most dramatic and clear examples selling in the $28,000 to $84,000 range at auction. Another type of error that drives value is the off-center strike. Normally, coins are perfectly centered when they are pressed between the dies, but sometimes a blank planchet slips out of place. The result is a coin that may only show part of Lincoln's portrait or has a crescent-shaped blank space where no design was struck. The more dramatic the off-center error, especially if it still shows the full date, the more valuable the coin becomes. In some cases, off-center 2017 pennies in pristine condition have commanded prices well above $40,000. Then there are transitional and wrong planchet errors, which are some of the most exciting and dramatic. These happen when a coin is accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal blank. For example, a dime blank accidentally fed into the press for pennies could produce a lightweight 2017 cent with a silvery color, unlike any normal penny. These wrong planchet errors are incredibly rare, but when they appear, collectors go wild for them, and prices in the $70,000 and higher range are not unusual. What makes these coins so valuable is not only their rarity but also the condition in which they are found. Most coins circulate, getting scratched, dinged, and worn, which reduces their value. But when error coins survive in mint state condition, shiny, untouched, and graded highly by professional services, their value skyrockets. A 2017 penny error in worn condition might still bring a few $1,000s, but a crisp, well-preserved example could easily hit the high end of that $28,000 to $84,000 range. Let's also not forget die cracks and cuds. These occur when a minting die starts to break down during production. A cud appears as a blob of extra metal on the coin, while a die crack looks like a raised line stretching across the surface. On 2017 pennies, certain dramatic die breaks covering Lincoln's head or parts of the lettering have fascinated collectors, turning these quirky mistakes into auction highlights. While not always as valuable as major double dies or wrong planchet strikes, some dramatic examples still fall into the tens of thousands of dollars. The excitement of discovering one of these rare 2017 pennies lies in the fact that they're out there, mixed into circulation, waiting to be found. Millions of Americans empty change from their pockets daily, and buried in those coins could be an overlooked treasure. Every time someone looks more closely at a penny, tilting it under the light to check for doubling or oddities, there's a chance of uncovering something extraordinary, and the auction houses tell the story. Over the last few years, examples of these rare 2017 era pennies have crossed the block, shocking audiences with their final hammer prices. What started as a 1-cent coin sold for tens of thousands of dollars, reinforcing the message that treasures are still out there. These stories of ordinary people finding extraordinary coins fuel the passion of the hobby. It's a reminder that rare coins aren't always ancient, nor do they have to be centuries old to be worth a fortune. Some of the rarest finds can be from coins struck just a few years ago. For those of you who are coin collectors, or even just curious treasure hunters, the lesson here is clear. Always check your change. Always look carefully at every penny, no matter how modern it seems. The 2017 Lincoln cent errors are proof that the minting process still produces mistakes, and those mistakes can make ordinary people rich. With values ranging from $28,000 to $84,000, one lucky find could change someone's financial situation in an instant. And here's the thing. These coins don't announce themselves. They won't sparkle differently. They won't scream, "I'm valuable." You have to train your eye, be observant, and learn what to look for. That's what makes the hunt so thrilling. Every coin is a mystery. Every penny could be the key to unlocking an incredible payday. And that's why collectors and treasure seekers alike continue to search tirelessly, never knowing if the next coin they flip over will be the one that changes everything. So next time you get change at the grocery store, or when you're rolling up coins from a jar, slow down. Take that extra moment to study your 2017 pennies. Look for doubling. Check the edges. Notice if something looks strange or off. Because among the billions of ordinary cents, there are a few extraordinary ones. And if you're lucky enough to hold one in your hand, you're not just holding a penny. You're holding a piece of minting history worth as much as $84,000. That's the magic of coin collecting. It transforms the everyday into the extraordinary. It rewards patience and curiosity. And it proves that even something as small and ordinary as a penny can hide unbelievable value. The 2017 era penny is living proof of that. And it's out there right now, waiting to be discovered by someone just like you.